All right, so looking at this Solana in the 1 hour, originally when price came up this area here, this is where I cut out down that way, and then it started ranging sideways. I really thought about getting in right about here in this area, which would have been nice if I had actually considered it, and actual for seriousness, like considered it down here. What was this? The 24th, Christmas Eve. Because it had bounced here before, and it's like, okay, this is great. It's like, doesn't seem to want to break this level here. This was already an area that it was using before as support in the past. Let's see if I can see it. I guess I'm just putting a bunch of arrows on my screen. If we jump out to the daily, there we go. See, this was an area that it had bounced from before, both little support, but more recently a resistance. That was the most recent thing. So I used this area. I was like, okay, cool. Perhaps price can stay above this area, and that's what it was doing. And so this is all you're doing. You're just like you're using the chart to paint a story and try to tell a story, and it's like your choose your own adventure sort of things. It's like, oh, look, price is in this area here. My adventure is I'm going to go up from here. But if it's even, like hovers down a little bit below this area to maybe like, so if you're like, I'm going to get in here, right here, this is where I'm going to get in. But if price comes down here, I'll go ahead and get out. But, my overall goal is to price to at least make it up to the previous highs, but in the high uptrend that we're in right now, a higher high. And so if you look at it, if this was the goal, not even looking at where it actually went, if like this was the goal and this was the risk, that's what it is. It's like I'm my goal that I'm trying to get at, even on the low end here, is higher than what I was really willing to risk. And so that's really all that is. So I didn't get in, but drew up my next zone as well, and here, because here's the next resistance area. Waited for price to get in here. Gave me a couple wick areas, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not too convinced though. And so I didn't get in then either, and then we didn't even get a higher high after this. I would have expected it to just continue up, and then I would have probably found some place in here to go ahead and go, but we didn't. It popped up a little bit, came back, did it again. Didn't get a good anything, and then just rolled over basically. Now that we are here's where it's looking promising. So we started this downtrend. We have a high here, came down, made a low, came up, made a lower high, a lower low, lower high, lower low. This should have been, in theory, in this nice little downtrend, a lower high, which would have made a lower low. But it didn't. Instead, it started with a low, a high, a higher low, and now we've made a higher high. Now, in my mind, the only way to truly break structure out of this downtrend, this is still a valid downtrend until this area right here is actually broken. This is the high that created the low. And because of that, this is like the last point of this downtrend, where even though we might get all this junkety junk that's going on over here, it could still be a valid downtrend. You see that whenever you come over here, when this uptrend was going on. When this uptrend was going on, here's the low that created the high. This should have been the next higher low that created the higher high, but it never happened, and it bounced back and respected this area before actually continuing on, never ever violating the lower, the low that created it to begin with. So it's like, I'm not fully on board. This is a valid downtrend, because if we think about it in the reverse of the uptrend, you had a low, high, higher low, higher high. Well, in order for this uptrend to be broken, this has to be violated. Guess what? It was. So this uptrend, at least on the lower time or on this time frame, is done with, and we're waiting for everything to shift back to that higher time frame trend. Oh my goodness gracious! Give me some freaking words. This higher time frame trend. This has been nothing but an uptrend, bullish run ever since, you know, we started back in October. It's just been nonstop up. And so where can we go from here? This is where I'm like, that's the next high level. Even on this daily chart, you could see that this area right here is the next crystal clear point that if price gets that, it could react. And that was between the was it 140 area? Yeah. So that's why I'm like, that's why if price can maintain this uptrend, that is my goal. So keeping that in mind, coming down here the 1 hour, let's see if we can get a closer, come on, fix my chart. So what I'm waiting on, and this is why it's like I can wait. This is where you got to have that patience. What I'm waiting on is price to break this. Once price breaks and closes above this, then we've now violated this downtrend. We've started uptrend structure, and that's what I'm going to count on. From there, I would look at something like once price broke and closed, came up here, so you'd end up with some sort of painted picture like so. Price would come up here, break, close. Who knows where it actually going to close. I'd be waiting for some sort of pullback, a pause somewhere in this area here, because, you know, that's the next area there. If not there, then actually here, because that's actually still part of uptrend structure. And even then, depending on how everything moves, it could come all the way back here and still be a valid uptrend. We've broken the downtrend. We've created uptrend structure. It might not be the cleanest, but, you know, you got a point here it can bounce at. You got a point here it can bounce at, and you got a point way down here. And all of that is still valid uptrend structure. What I'd like is something like this. Now, once that sets up, I now have a level, which would be this area here, that this is my higher low. If this uptrend structure is going to continue and maintain, it should not break that. Now, with that being said, I would get in once I start seeing price bouncing someplace, as it looks like it's going to go up, and I would target up there. And so now we're back again. It's like I'm expecting price to get all the way up this high. I'm willing to risk 4% of my account. That's what in the middle of this account position tool, you can actually see it's 4%. There's a 4% risk. If price makes it below that area, I would be out 4%. But I have a 16% gain. I'm game with that. That's fine. You know, I might have to adjust this depending on how the candles look. But no matter what, even to get a 1-to-1, which is even a valid trade to begin with, you know, my stop loss would have to be way down there. What are the odds that I'm going to get a candle wick or anything that happens? Number one, if it comes way down there, I've already broken every validation that I needed for this uptrend to begin with. So it's like the odds are on my side. I just need to be patient and wait for it. And so this is where that, you know, like setting up everything, seeing how everything plays out, making a plan, and then sticking to the plan, making minor adjustments if you need to. But it's like, no matter where I get in here, if price is going to go up, I have a high likelihood of making a whole lot more than I'm actually risking. So be patient. If you're going to get back in with me, then all we got to do is be patient. I have an alert set right here to let me know when price crosses this and closes. I don't necessarily care about just crossing it, because you could get a wick that comes up that way and then turns around and still goes down. I want it to close. Close above is whole lot stronger to me than just a wick. And so that's what I'm waiting on. That's my game plan, and I will wait for that. Yeah. So let me close this off now.